doing a great job by coming out. Tomorrow night is going to be another important night. Tomorrow night we're looking at more accountability. We're going to be resting on Thursday night, and then we're going to be back on Friday night. Now tomorrow night is going to be a really special night because tomorrow night we're having a special prayer tomorrow night. That's Wednesday night. Now, I just want to inform you, some of you might be in need of special prayer. And every night we have the elders here who will be willing to minister to you in prayer according to your needs. So, if there is anyone who might be sick, or you might be going through a specific problem, and you want to call the elders, this is the right opportunity to do so. We have a team of elders that are waiting to come to pray for you. Alright, I just want to give you some news in relation to our pastor. News are coming out from the hospital that he is improving. In fact, I understand he is viewing us. So I'm kind of nervous about that because I don't know what grade he's going to give me when we do meet. But by the grace of God, we're very happy to know that he's doing well. We also want to say a special welcome to those of you who are following us online. I understand there are people in several countries following, and we just want to say to God be the glory. Now, tonight at the end of the meeting, I'll be making a special call. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm calling for. I will be calling, brethren, for us to make a renewal to Jesus. And if there is anyone in the congregation who have not yet given their heart to Christ, I'm going to call you to give your life to Christ. And if there is anyone who has once been in the faith and for some reason had left the faith, and at the end of the service you realize the Spirit of God is speaking to you, I want you to come to the altar too. We're going to do that tonight. Good night, Rita.
Good night.
We're happy to be here.
Yes.
And we're going to be moving on in Jesus' name. More time. More time. I would like to bring to your attention that grace was first introduced in the Garden of Eden.
Sir.
Let me repeat that. I said grace was first introduced in the Garden of Eden. When Adam and Eve sinned, according to what the Bible says, they should have died.
That's right.
However, God in His mercy stood between man and a broken law and offered Adam and Eve grace.
That's right.
Grace, brethren, is an unmerited favor so that man will have a second opportunity to make it right with God.
Come on.
It therefore means that every person on the face of the earth received grace.
Yes.
Titus chapter 2 and verse 11. Titus chapter 2, verse 11. Help me read.
For the grace of God that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men.
The Bible says, for the grace of God that bringeth salvation
That's right.
had Not only that, it therefore means that every person on the face of the earth has access to a second chance.
Come on, you're right, yes.
More time. I am here to tell you that grace is one of the most preached about subject in the Bible.
Yes, sir.
However, it is also one of the most misunderstood subjects in the Bible. You see, a lot of preachers and a lot of people think that grace is an excuse to sin.
Come on, take your time.
So tonight we're gonna really delve into the word and help us to understand tonight. While grace is an unmerited favor, grace, fellow believers, is never meant as an excuse for sin.
No way.
You see, there was one time I went to drop someone to the airport. And I wasn't late, so I was taking my time. It was a Friday. I couldn't forget that. As we were approaching Morris Bishop International Airport, I noticed there were police and the vehicle in front of me, he stopped the vehicle and he had his ticket book in his hands. Well, I was driving within the required mileage, so I had nothing to fear. But I remained a little longer on the airport than I should have. And it was Friday, and I needed to get home on time to prepare for the Sabbath. Forgetting that the police were there, reader, I pressed it. And you know, it's some days about the best of the road you're going to find is those days, so you don't get a chance to really press the end someday and get a chance again.
Yeah.
From almost nowhere, the police officer stepped out of the room. He stopped the vehicle and he was furious. His exact words are, "You are driving over 50 miles an hour and I'm going to give you a ticket." I made one statement and I said, "Sorry, officer." He continued to speak and I didn't say a single word. So he said, "Aren't you saying anything?" I said, "Officer, I really broke the law. I'm at your bosses." He said, okay, go on. You know, what the officer did is that he extended something to me called grace.
Come on, take your time.
Now, when he extended the grace to me, he did not remove the sign that says you should drive 50 miles an hour as the limit. But what he did is that he gave me a second chance so that I can continue to keep the principle that revolves driving in Grenada.
Yes.
And that's what grace does. Gives you some time to make it right.
That's right.
So let us look at slide 4. Grace does not remove God's 10 commandments.
No way.
The Bible makes it clear. According to Psalms chapter 111 and verse 7 and 8, it says that God's law, it stands forever.
That's the word, preaching.
That's what the Bible says.
Yes.
It means if it stands forever, it stood in the Old Testament times, it stood in the New Testament times, and it is still standing in our times. It stands forever.
Amen.
You see, friends of mine, what is important to ministers who preach on pulpits would have known that, they would have not had the confusion that we now have. The first thing that grace does is that it pardons the sinner, it cleanses you from your sins. That's what grace does.
Come on.
In other words, it justifies you.
Yeah.
It is an act whereby God declares a sinner righteous.
Come on, preacher.
But grace does another thing.
Yeah.
Grace has the power to enable you to live a life that is holy and righteous.
Yes, right.
If a person who is claiming to have been under grace and is transgressing the law, this is a disgrace.
Come on, make it plain, preacher.
Couldn't be grace. Because you see, not that only that grace forgives and pardons you, but it enables you
Yes,
to live a life that is pleasing in the sight of God.
sir.
Hence the reason why no one can beat the chest and boast of their soul salvation. It is because everything that is accomplished in the life of the Christian, it is through grace.
Come on, make it plain.
So this is what grace does. Grace is the policeman's way of saying next time. Next time,
Yes, ma'am.
thou shalt not commit adultery.
Come on.
Next time, thou shalt not kill.
Yes, man.
Next time, thou shalt not bear false witnesses. And it goes on as it deals with the law of with the moral.
Yeah.
Fellow brethren, I wish to point to your attention tonight that because of the misunderstanding of grace, follow me tonight. Because of the misunderstanding of the term grace, many Christians do not see sin in its true light.
Come on, take your time, preacher. Take your time.
Because a lot of Christians are taught that grace is an excuse to sin, they have not seen sin in its true light.
Yeah.
And where a person or a people have not seen sin in its true light, it leads to another floodgate of evil.
Come on, that's right.
One of the evils is that it causes us to lose respect for God.
Come on now.
You need to follow me tonight. If you don't understand how sin work, how grace work, then you never appreciate the sinfulness of sin. And if you don't appreciate the sinfulness of sin, that leads you to disrespect God. Are you following me?
Yeah.
And I am here to tell you, because of the misunderstanding, and in some cases it's not really a misunderstanding, but it is a blunt lie that is spoken out of pulpits. Some people get so bold in their misrepresenting Christ, it becomes such a great evil. Let me point out some of the truth to us, brethren. I'm here to tell you that the misunderstanding and disrespect of God has been creeping in so many of Christendom, even in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Some of us should have known better, and we are seeing how sometimes we are disrespecting God. Ever so often we can see when individuals come to the house of God, sometimes when they dress, you're wondering if it is not by Moonlight City they are going. I sometimes wonder how people could claim that they respect God and dress that way to come to church.
Come on, preacher. Take your time.
we're talking about revival, we have to touch some of those corners. Have to touch them. Brethren, disrespect to God have been leading a lot of Seventh-day Adventists, a lot of Christians to all kinds of sins. And these are some of them. When a person decides to take upon himself the responsibility or the evil to take another man's wife or another woman's husband, that is disrespect to God.
Come on, preacher. Make it plain.
Disrespect to God. When an individual decides to withhold what rightfully belongs to God, this is disrespect to God.
Come on, preacher. Come on.
Bible calls us to live holy lives. Amen. Sometimes it does wonder if I am in the right place. Does really wonder if I am in the right place. Because it seems to me that respect for God and reverence for His holy name has been thrown out of the window.
Mercy.
We no longer teach our children, well, most times, a lot of us, we don't teach our children some of the fundamental principles that testifies to who they are. Instead, we teach them how to unite with the world. And all of these are a result of disrespect to God.
Yes.
We cannot afford to be Christians and be disrespecting God's holy name. We are called to live holy lives.
Yeah.
Disrespect to God. I'm here to tell you, when a man decides to sleep with another man, and you're telling me it's so easy. And sometimes even within us, they are defending it. It is happening among us sometimes, and sometimes we are defending it. Hey, I am here to tell you, we ought to love and respect one another, but at the same time, when such grave disrespect happens, we have to call sin by its name.
Yes.
Must call sin by its name. Misunderstanding of grace leads us to excuse sin. I'm here to tell you, if sin could have been excused, it would have never been sin.
Come on.
You're not following me today. I am saying if there was an excuse for sin, it would have failed to be sin.
Yes, sir.
The reason why it is sin, it is because it has no excuse.
That's right.
In other words, there was no reason why Satan should have been lifted up in pride. There is no reason why Eve should have eaten the fruit. There is no reason, brethren, why we should have transgressed the commandments of God. And if we could excuse sin, it means that it is not sin.
That's right.
Couldn't be sin. I want to thank God tonight for a thing they call grace. And God in His mercy gives us more time.
Yes.
Slide number 5. Going to Daniel now. Daniel stood up in front of the world's greatest ruler and made an appeal for conversion.
That's right.
Talking about a man of God. Here we really need a lot of Daniels. In this world in which we are living in, Daniel chapter 4 verse 22. Help me read that.
It is thou, O king,
Yes.
that have grown and become strong.
Yes.
For thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth.
Yes.
And whereas the king saw a watcher and an holy one coming down from heaven, and said, hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him.
Next slide. All right. Yes. Let's read those verses.
Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thy iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility.
So Daniel, King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. In that dream, he saw a big tree that housed birds of the air and, animals that found refuge under the tree.
Yeah.
But something happened to the tree. The tree was cut down. Nebuchadnezzar did not understand what the dream meant. So after seeking counsel, he finally got in touch with Daniel, and Daniel began to explain to him what the dream meant. And in the dream, Daniel said, the tree that thou saw, O king, it represented you.
Yeah.
You see, God had blessed Nebuchadnezzar and he became great on the face of the earth.
Yes.
But while he was growing, something called pride was growing inside of him. While that was happening, God could not have saved Nebuchadnezzar in his faith. So God gave him a warning. God gave him a warning. And not only that God gave him a warning, but brethren,